One of my favorite YouTube channels is Mr. Pete 222, also known as Tubal Cain. It's an older gentleman that makes a lot of machining videos on milling, lathe work, and other casting things, and casting projects, I mean. And he does a very good job. He used to be a teacher, and he's excellent at explaining things, and it is, in general, a very educational and entertaining channel. And so far I'm showing some clips of a little project that I'm working on, and overall it's just on making some improvements to my metal lathe, which is a Logan 400. And what I'm doing is replacing the little set screws with brass thumb screws that will go into the collars on the lathe. So I started out by mounting some brass into the lathe after determining the thread size, which was 832. The brass rod was mounted into the chuck, some layout fluid was applied, and then marked out the length of the shank of the little thumb screw. I turned it down to its diameter. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but you can look that up on the chart online if you'd like to. Just Google thread count diameters or something like that. It'll tell you the rough sizes. That's what I did on the computer earlier to get that size, or if you have the actual screw, you can just measure it with some calipers. So after I turned that down, I chamfered the end with a file and then got my 832 die and mounted into its holder. I apply a little bit of oil to the actual die and to the thumb screw that I'm making, and then using my tailstock I help kind of press the die up onto there. That helps it get started. And cutting brass versus steel is really easy. I did like it. You really don't even have to, I mean, maybe you should, but you don't even have to go in reverse. You can just run it and it cut them super smooth. And to make sure that my threads go all the way to the shoulder, I flipped the die around in the holder and threaded the little shank of the screw all the way up to the head. And you can see right there how they go all the way up. The next step is adding some grip to the top of the thumb screw, and for that I'm using a knurling tool. And this is all older style tools and a lantern style tool post. But it all works pretty good for me. Now the knurling did not come out perfect, and if y'all know why, you can let me know. Got a little mushed up at the top. It could have something to do with the diameter, but in general the diameter seemed like it worked out fine as far as there was no crisscrossing, but it just kind of mushed up. I'm not sure whether it was because I applied too much pressure or not enough pressure, not sure. So after I knurled it, I chamfered it and then parted it off, and then used some flush trim nippers to kind of cut off that little piece that didn't get turned. And if you want, you can knock off that little hump on some sort of a stone. I used a little Easy Lap diamond stone. So there it is, all finished up. It was a really fun little project, and it went to the little collars on the lathe. So I made one for the cross slide and then one for the compound slide. And I'll show you that in just a second. They were the same size diameter, same size threads, and you know, both 832, but one just has a shorter shank on it. And you can also make these out of steel, but in that case you would want to have some sort of a little brass pad inserted down into that hole to not mar up the surface underneath. And once again, thank you to Mr. Pete 222. That's his channel name. He goes by Tubal Cain. He's got a lot of videos out there, so check him out. And when it comes to making things on the metal lathe, I don't have a ton of experience. I got it several years ago and just now getting around to really getting it set up and put into good use. With a dedicated space here in the basement, I'm sure it'll be popping up in many videos in the future. Many of them will just be documenting my different projects, and then down the road, once I learn more, I might do some specific how-tos of different things that I've learned. So I guess thank you for watching, and if you're not already a subscriber, click on the red button on the screen now, and that'll allow you to get updates when I post future videos so you can follow along nice and easy. Thanks for watching.